Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. You guys, I've been going through my stash. You know, things that you've kind of stuck back and totally forgotten about. Well, this is one of those things that I'm using that I forgot about. So let's bring our old back into use. And I came up with this coffee filtered flip book tag. That's what I call it. And I've got a little coffee filter here. I've got a digital from Poole Designs, a little bit of Sari silk from Crimson Heart Studios, a button. I've got some of that fancy trim that I have on in my Etsy shop, little stamping, a tab, and yes, of course, we have a flip book. Now, this isn't hard to make. It has a couple of little elements that we need to get ready. So let's get right to it and let's make us some. All right, so this is the item in which I had stashed back away and totally forgotten about. They're single serving coffee filters. So they're small. They're very tiny. So when they're all spread out, they are 3 3/4 inches round. And look, I decided to emboss mine. I'm going to emboss these two with you so you can see how I got this look. I absolutely love embossing. And I thought first, oh, I was going to coffee dye these. And then I thought, no, I think they would be very beautiful embossed, and keep them that beautiful white and ink up the raised portions. So here we go. Here's my embossing machine, and here is my embossing folder. You can see it's a swirly whirly. I love swirly whirlies, don't I? I have no idea where I got this from. It doesn't look very old. Maybe I got it off of Temu. I really don't know, you guys, and I'm so very sorry. But I'm sticking them in here. I haven't ironed them. I haven't ironed them first or anything. I'm just sticking them in just like that. But I don't want to have, you know, any folds. So yeah, I think that will be perfect. So it fits right in, as you can see. Now we're going to layer up our pieces so that we can get these embossed. I always like to put it through my machine with the opening going in first. I don't know if that's a thing that, you know, a big deal or anything, but it seems to work best for me if I do it that way. And I don't know about you guys, but I've got all these like little pieces of boxes that I have in my stash so that when I'm starting to do an embossing, I just collect the ones that are going to work for my project. And it always seems to be a little different. Now I'm just running it through just like this. Then I'm going to run it back through towards me like that. And then let's look at the magic that has happened inside our embossing folder. All right, opening it up. Oh my goodness, aren't they gorgeous? They're absolutely gorgeous. Now we're just going to remove them. And now we have our coffee filters that have been embossed. Now, you know I do like inking, and I have my frayed burlap here. And what I want to do is I want to take my frayed burlap and my little sponge. And there's two sides to your embossing. There's a side that has the raised portion and then the side that is indented. I'm going to have the raised portion facing upward, and I'm going to take my sponge with a little bit of ink on it, and I'm just going to highlight and go around lightly, and you'll catch just the raised portion of that embossing. And this is where I truly believe the magic happens. I love it. Now you can highlight certain areas and make them darker. And oh my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? Just gorgeous. Then I'm going to pick it up And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink around the edge. And then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ink it around the edge. Like that. And then I'm going to lay it back down and just highlight a little bit more, because you will see a little bit of this on the back side when we put our little flip book tag together. All right, so we've got that done. Oh my goodness, I think it's even beautiful on that side as well. The next thing that we're going to do, well, we need to talk about the papers that are going to go in the flip book. Now you can use anything you want. This is copy weight paper that I have coffee dyed. I didn't even coffee dye the back of that one, but I still think that looks really pretty. You could use a book page, you could use a digital. The sky's the limit on what you would like to use. But what we're going to do is we're going to measure out right here 2.5 inches. So I have marked 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. Now, did I say that this was 11 inches by 8.5 is what my piece of paper is? And I'm going to bring in my tear ruler. You guys, I made this tear ruler. If you don't have a tear ruler and you'd like to have one, I have 2 videos in my playlist about how you can make this inexpensive tear ruler, and then you have it, voila. So I've marked here, I've marked here. So I'm going to lay my ruler on my marks, and then I am going to tear my strip here. So I'm just getting my marks and tearing that. I'm going to tear my other marks like that, and one more time, placing it. What is going on with my voice this morning? I have no idea. Okay, there we go. Now we've got them all torn. I kind of like this torn look with this project. This one we're going to set aside. We're going to use that one a little bit later. Now we have 3 torn strips that are 2.5 by 11 inches. We're going to place them together just like this, one on top of the other. And we're going to take this in and this in. They're all together. You see, they're all here. Actually, I think I'm going to mix some of mine up so that, yeah, so that I have, let's see. I think I'm going to do this. I'll put that side of that one in the middle. Sandwich it in the middle. All right, back to stacking them together. We're going to take this end and we're going to bring it up to this end, just like that. And we're going to line them up the best we can. We're going to grab our little stapler. Oh, here it is. Mine is a Tim Holtz Ideology. And it's that tiny little stapler. You guys, if you order the stapler or if you buy the stapler, you know what? I don't want this to be on the outside. I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, guys? I just changed it because I want the darker on the outside for the front. Well, back to this. If you order this, order some extra staples. What's going on? Staples, because they'll run out really fast if you don't, and then you won't have them, and then you'll be really sad. Because once you start using this little thing, it is super duper cute. I mean, I'm not a staple girl, but it's easy. They're so cute, right? All right, so we've got that all stapled, and then we're just going to pull this down, and we're going to crease it like this. And then we're going to cut it. Yes, we are. We're going to cut it as soon as I find my little guillotine here. We're going to bring it in. I still haven't gotten all of my ink from yesterday off my fingers. All right, so that's what that little black thing is, and it's bothering me. Oh, well. Hope it's not bothering you. All right, so now we've got our little flip book. Oh, my gosh, isn't that cute? That is cute. That's so easy. Now, let's go ahead and bring in our corner rounder. And let's just round up some of these corners. It just softens the effect. And this little flip book tag is pretty, well, it looks very vintage, very shabby, you know, that kind of look. I do love that look. So we've got it all rounded. Now, you know, if you've been around very long, you know I don't really like the way staples look. I don't know what that is. I really don't like the back of the staples because, well, it can catch on things. It can tear things. It can hurt your hands. And so I like to cover them up. So on the very back, that's where I'm going to bring in that little strip that we had. I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to place it right here and I'm going to cover that up with my little strip. So I'm going to bring in my art glitter glue. Oh no, I think my brain's going faster than my mouth or something. All right, so get that down. My glue, you use whatever glue you like, you guys. If you like a glue stick, then you use that glue stick. This is your project. You make it your own. So we've got that down. I'm just going to trim it off. Now I could use my tear ruler, but I'm just going to trim it for now and make it quick and easy. Got a little glue there. Wipe it up. I have some washi tape. This is something else that I have that I need to use a little more often. I love the look of washi tape. So let's use it on this project too. I don't trust the washi tape for a couple reasons. I just don't trust washi tape to stick. And two, mine's old. So yeah, I definitely need to add a little bit more glue down there to make sure that that washi tape is going to stick and it's not going to come off. Now I am going to grab my scissors and I'm not going to tear this. I'm actually going to cut it because I really want it to be covered the whole way across. I want that look. And if I tore it, I'm liable to have not ripped it right at the edge, and well, you know how that goes. All right, so now we got the back covered. Nothing's going to bother us. We've got the front, and that's covered. Let's bring in our beautiful embossed coffee filter. Now, what I wanted to do was I'm going to fold it in half like this, and I'm just going to gently crease it. I'm not creasing it really hard. And I'm placing my flip book right up against that crease. I'm just kind of looking to see, that I have about the same on either side right here. And I'm going to glue the coffee filter on the back up to where it's folded. I'm not gluing this part down because when you have finished, you'll lift this up and then you'll be able to see all this beautifulness plus this. I just think that's a nice way to get into your flip book. I think it would be easier than trying to, how are you going to flip if it's like this? It's not going to work. So this needs to come up. So we're going to add a little bit of glue. So I think I'm going to add it to my flip book. I'm just guessing how far down I need to add it, and I can go back and always add a little bit more if I need to. I'm just kind of lining this up a little bit to help me, and I'm going to pop this on right like that and press it down. So now we have the back glued on, and yes, I need to add a little bit more glue, but I just think it's easier to do it this way. It is not as big of a glue mess for me if I do it that way. Okay, so now we've got our flip portion. Oh, that's so pretty already, isn't it? So now let's add some other things. Oh, I've got some goodies in my bag. I have some buttons that I have already added thread to. I have a new dish too, guys. I bought this. My daughter and I went thrifting, and my granddaughter. We went thrifting Saturday, and oh my goodness, I don't know which way it goes. I think it's a little leaf. Isn't that cute? It says made in Japan, so it's an oldie. So anyway, wanted to show you that. I also pre-tied a bunch of bows. I don't need this many bows for this project, but I just decided to tie a bunch of cute little bows. Now, this is Sari Silk from Crimson Heart Studios, and I will link her shop down below. She has an Etsy shop with lots of beautiful things. This is my other dish that I bought. I only bought two. I only found two. Look at this one. I'm wondering if this went in a set and it went around like a relish dish. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But this one is a Bavarian, Germany. I love pansies. Pansies are one of my favorite flowers. I love them. And you know, they smell so good. Okay, so I've got my tabs right there. I already pre-made them. I have my tab punch. I punched my tabs out of coffee dyed cardstock, sorry. And I inked them all up so they're ready to go. So we've got all of our stuff all prepped and ready. Ooh, I haven't finished telling you. Okay, so maybe you got some of that specialty trim, and that's what I'm going to use in this. At least some of them out of here. I'm not going to use all the strands, just some of them. And then in my coffee dyed glassine bag, what do I have in here? I have some Poole designs. Now, I printed off lots of Poole design items when I made, what was that we made? The No-Sew booklet, I think, and I just think these are adorable. They look like Polaroids, and, you know, back in the day when we loved Polaroids, didn't we, guys? But daggone it, I just always thought they were so very expensive. But anyway, Polaroids are the coolest thing. And so what I want to do is let's use this one. And I'm going to use both of these so it will cut better. I'm going to use the middle size corner rounder, and I'm going to round the corners off right here. Let's get that, well, goodness gracious, let's get that in there. And let's round the corners. There we go. And of course, you know, this is the one I wanted to use for this example that we're making together. And you don't have to have a digital. You know those Temu books that we used our last video? You could use one of those. Hey, that's another use for one of those little booklets, right? You could cut something out of a magazine or a book. It doesn't have to be a digital, you guys. It does not. I happen to have these, so I thought, we're using what we have, so let's grab this and use it. Now, before I glue this down, I'm going to bring in some stamps. And I have my Timber Brown. I really like the Timber Brown stays on. And I have just my little paragraph stamp here. I only want to stamp a little bit down here, maybe a little bit here, just a touch, just to give it just a little feeling of, I don't know, layering. Maybe that's the word I want. Layering is the ticket. We want to layer things. I just think that just makes things really look wonderful when we layer them. There we go. Oh, I love how that one turned out. So just a little bit of stamping, not a lot. Well, where'd you go? There. Here we are. And I think that will be perfect. Bringing this back in. And I want to place this, as my mother would say, cattywampus. So I'm not going to put it like straight. I'm putting it at an angle. But I'm not going to put it at an angle so much that it sticks out too much. So kind of keep it within your little flip book right here. So let's add a little bit of glue to our, whatever it is that you're going to use. And someone's going to ask me what size this is. I'll measure this. I'll measure one of the other ones in just a minute. I think I want it to be like that. I stamped my finger too. All right, so I said I'd measure it, so let's get one of them in. These are about 2.5 by 1 3/4. So if you're using, you know, something that you have, something in that size range. And I'm going to ink the back because, well, you're going to see the back because this flips up. Alrighty, so a little bit of inking there. Now, what I want to do is, now we can really crease it, and so it will stay. It won't flap up. I'm going to use my little pre-made Sari silk bow, and that's going to go there, and I'm going to use a little bit of our yarn. Now I'm going to pull out this one that reminds me of flags on a boat. And it does. That's what it reminds me of. So I'm going to pull out this one. That one right there. It is so sweet and precious. And I'm just going to have one little strand of it, and I'm going to trim it right here, taking it about as long as the flip book. And then I'm going to grab this one. I love this one. It has little tassels on it, little tiny tassels like that. And once again, I'm going to cut it so that it's about the length of that. And then this one, the little heavier one. Now, you guys, I have this trim in my Etsy shop. The link is down below for my Etsy shop if anyone wants to pick some up. It's really wonderful to use. You can make tassels out of it. You can use it as trim and decoration, and you can pick out certain pieces of the yarn. All right, so now we've got our 3 little pieces of yarn, and I do have my hot glue gun ready to go. It's a Surebonder high temp, and it's got the special tip on it. It came with the tip. I didn't buy the tip separately. And I'm going to just put a little dab of glue right here, and I'm going to place my pieces of my trim on the glue, and I'm going to glue it down just like that. So now we have kind of like dangles, super cute. Then I'm going to glue my little Sari silk bow on here and then press that down. Now you don't have to use hot glue, guys. You can use whatever glue that you like to use while gluing down fabrics. I'm going to grab one of these buttons in our dish, and I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on top of my Sari silk bow, press that down, and oh my goodness, you know what we didn't do? We didn't stamp our flip book. Oh my goodness, Cathy. All right, bringing in your timber brown stays on again, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just do it here and there. So if you forget like I do, you can still fix it by going back and just doing it here and there. I just think that's really pretty here and there. All right, so we've got that. Now we're going to still need a tab because it's, well, I've says that I'm calling it a coffee filtered flip book tag. So let's add a tag to it. So here in my new little dish, we have a tag all ready to go. And I only need one. And I'm not putting it on the front. I'm going to put it on the inside. I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to add my art glitter glue right here on my tag. And then I'm going to pop it down here a little bit further than maybe I would normally add a tag or a tab. It's not a tag, it's a tab. Oh, and then look at that. Oh, you guys, I think these are absolutely adorable. They're easy to make. You can use things from your stash, and I do hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.